as long as I have a will when I die, everything will work out just fine. Well, that sounds pretty good.
Well, in our state, what you're planning for is to go to court.
Really?
Because in this state, in order for a will to be effective, it has to be approved by a court. And also, wills generally only leave things to the first generation. So planning for perhaps your grandchildren, planning for people who might have special needs are not effectively done in a will. The other thing I really want everyone here in the audience to understand is that estate planning is not just about what happens when you pass away. It's much more important to understand that it's also about what happens when you slip and fall, have a sudden disability, maybe unfortunately develop Alzheimer's or perhaps have a stroke.
Oh, okay. So now a will, but it's a minimum, everybody should have a will. And I want to talk to you about that because you just said that when you have just a will, that's just, you're planning to go to court.
Yes.
And so explain that word probate.
Well, because only 30% of Americans have done any form of planning at all, we have to have some process to be able to move things that are owned by a decedent to a living person. And so that's what probate or succession, depending on what state you're in, is about. It's about moving things that are owned in the name of a decedent to their next of kin.
So probate then is a legal process that we go through to sort of validate the will and say, yes, it was indeed valid. This is what has to happen. And there's a way around that, and you're going to talk about that later. But for the most part, but as you're saying, most people don't even have the will.
Correct.
Okay.
And that process is very expensive. That process will end up losing the family thousands and thousands of dollars, and doesn't really take care of all of the considerations that most families have.